A report claims that Spurs are already lining up summer signings, but most will hinge on what division Spurs are in next season. Tottenham's route to Premier League survival is now clear. 1 point will do it, 3 will guarantee it, and no points gained will leave their fate to what happens across the capital. And Opta's latest supercomputer update has dramatically shifted the relegation picture following West Ham's 3-1 loss at St James's Park. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, but I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live or upload a video to the channel. Okay, let's get into it. Gimme Sport report that Tottenham have plenty of work to do in the summer transfer window once it finally opens. And much will depend, of course, on what division the Lily Whites are in come the start of the 2026-27 campaign, with Spurs only 2 points clear of the Premier League's bottom 3, but now only requiring 1 point to secure their status from 2 games remaining. A number of players are expected to leave, Christian Romero and Guillermo Vicario chief among them, but there will be plenty of players linked with a move to North London too. Deals have already been agreed with Andy Robertson from Liverpool and Marcos Senesi from Bournemouth, but those 2 free transfers rely on Spurs still being a Premier League side. Nicolo Faglio has been linked with a move from Fiorentina, while Tottenham have also been linked with AC Milan's Rafael Leao and Monaco's Magnus Akliouche in an attacking sense, and goalkeepers James Trafford, Lucas Chevalier and Bart Verbruggen. A new name has emerged as a potential signing in the form of Leao Rivero, someone most people may not be familiar with. A 22-year-old centre-back, the Argentine is tipped to be the long-term replacement for countryman Romero, although Spurs will not be the only ones chasing his signature in the summer transfer window. Spurs will need defensive reinforcements if Romero leaves as expected, and particularly if Mickey van der Ven departs the club too, although if they stay in the Premier League there is a feeling that the Dutchman could stay and even sign a new deal given his appreciation for De Zerbi. Rivero may well turn out to be a quality centre-back, but there are a couple of very good reasons why Spurs should not look to complete a deal. Firstly, Tottenham have already a young centre-back performing brilliantly away from the club that needs to be given a chance next season in the form of Luka Vuskovic. Spurs are keen to tie the Croatian down to a new long-term contract in North London following his impressive spell on loan with Hamburg in the Bundesliga. Then there is the money it will cost to sign Rivero. According to reports, the 22-year-old has a release clause of about £87 million, and there are plenty of other areas for Spurs to spend such big money on in this summer and not splash it all on an untried defender. Football.London report that Tottenham now know exactly what they must do in the final week of the Premier League season after West Ham's defeat on Sunday. Roberto De Zerbi knows that his Tottenham players have to bring in 1 point from their final 2 games to be all but guaranteed of their Premier League safety. West Ham fell to a 3-1 defeat to Newcastle at St James's Park on Sunday evening to make it 3 consecutive losses after going down to Arsenal and Brentford in the previous fixtures. In contrast, Spurs have picked up under De Zerbi with a 4-game unbeaten run and 7 points from their past 3 matches. The result on Sunday leaves the Hammers 2 points behind Tottenham with just a single game to play, while the North London outfit have 2 matches to go, starting with Tuesday night's trip to Stamford Bridge. In essence, Spurs need a point from either of their 2 remaining games to stay up, barring a ridiculous set of results for West Ham to have goal difference of -22 -2. That is 13 worse than De Zerbi's men on -9. Tottenham could guarantee their Premier League place next season if they could win at Chelsea in midweek. That, of course, is easier said than done because the Little Whites have won just one solitary game in the Premier League era at the West London ground. Came in 2018 during the peak Mauricio Pochettino years, with Dele Alli scoring twice after Christian Eriksen's stunner from 25 yards had cancelled out Alvaro Morata's headed opener. If they lose on Tuesday night, then it all goes down to the final day of the season. West Ham face a home game against inform Leeds United, who beat Brighton on Sunday and have not lost a Premier League game since March the 3rd. The Hammers have to win to stand any chance of staying up if Spurs lose both their remaining games, and will have the London Stadium crowd behind them, but their visitors will not be on their holidays just yet. At the same time, on Sunday, Spurs host Everton, who can still mathematically just about sneak enough to get into 8th place and a Conference League spot unless Chelsea were to win in midweek, which makes it even more unlikely. Tottenham have had their struggles at home this season, but have improved under De Zerbi and should have won both games against Brighton and Leeds. So the route is clear for Spurs. 1 point will do it, 3 will guarantee it, and no points gained will leave their fate left to what happens across the capital. After a wretched season, the Spurs have one job to do, and that is to give something back to their suffering fans. They have to deliver. And Opta's latest supercomputer update has dramatically shifted the relegation picture following West Ham's 3-1 loss at St James's Park. Spurs are now given only a 6.17% chance of relegation, while West Ham's survival hopes have almost been completely collapsed, with the Hammers handed a 93.83% probability of going down. Tottenham supporters have been left frustrated after their recent draw with Leeds United, a result which denied Roberto De Zerbi's side the opportunity to move further clear of danger. However, West Ham's capitulation against Newcastle has significantly eased the pressure on Spurs heading into the final stretch of the campaign. West Ham's performance on Tyneside is described as disastrous from the outset. Goals from Nick Voldemada and a brace from William Osula put Newcastle in complete control, with frustrated Hammers fans reportedly leaving the stadium early after another lifeless display from Nuno Espirito Santo's struggling side. For Tottenham, the equation is now simple. De Zerbi's side require just one more point from their remaining fixtures to mathematically secure survival. While Opta's projections heavily favour Spurs staying up, supporters remain cautious after a turbulent campaign that has already seen multiple managerial changes and a prolonged battle near the foot of the table. Meanwhile, West Ham are now relying on a near miracle. Even if Tottenham lose at Chelsea, the Hammers would still need to beat Leeds on the final day and hope that Spurs essentially lose to Everton. What once looked like an unthinkable collapse for Spurs has become a situation where survival is within touching distance, while West Ham appear destined for the Championship unless there is a dramatic late twist in the final week of the season. Okay, here's my thoughts on those stories today. Firstly, Spurs' summer transfer plans. It's a bit of a moot point at the moment, really, because we still don't know what division we're going to be in. Obviously, things have turned around, which I'll come on to in a minute, but purely talking about transfers just for a second. Obviously, they've got deals in place with Senesi and Andy Robertson. So, look, I still think those deals would be good deals for Spurs. You would have to think, should we survive, then Spurs just need to do something in this summer transfer window. They've definitely had their fingers burnt by the way this season's gone, and it's kind of proved, and the chickens come home to roost, in essence, that you can't keep skimping and trying to save on transfer windows and players, because you're going to be in this situation. We've not been in it fully like this before, but as I say, you know, you play with fire, you're going to get burnt eventually, and that's what's happened with Spurs this season, and we're not safe yet. So, you know, all these deals are still going to be up in the air because no player's going to... well, some players would still come to Spurs if we're in the Championship. Of course they would, but you'd expect big players just simply wouldn't. They'd want to play top-flight football. So we just don't know about those yet. Spurs, of course, only pretty much need a point, barring a 10-11 goal swing in West Ham's favour against Everton. Against Leeds, and Spurs having Everton on the final game of the season. But firstly, it's Chelsea up next, and Spurs need a point. Spurs need a point from their last two games. I would love to get that point at Chelsea. I mean, it'd be brilliant to beat Chelsea, wouldn't it? Of course it would. But, you know, one win in the Premier League era at Stamford Bridge. It would be nice, though, wouldn't it? How nice would it be to beat Chelsea to stay up, where everybody was saying, and Chelsea fans were saying, that we're going to relegate Tottenham. Well, regardless, that's not going to happen anyway now. But it would be lovely to secure Premier League status at Chelsea. But if it doesn't, and I can see this happening personally, it's going to go down to that last game of the season. I'd still much rather be in our position than West Ham's. Obviously, that new projection from the Opta supercomputer, whether you pay much attention to that at all, I pretty much don't. You can see it with your own eyes. But obviously, it's all in our favour now. Everything's going for us when everything seemed to be against us a few weeks ago. So, Spurs, it's in your hands. It's in the players' hands. It's in De Zerbi's hands. We need just a point. And it just goes to show how important those drop points were against, even in the recent games, Brighton against Leeds. If we'd beaten Leeds or beaten Brighton, we'd have been safe by now. And the relief would have been palpable. But as it stands, we need a point. We need to get something out of Chelsea or Everton. So it goes on. West Ham were pretty poor up at Newcastle. I can't believe they're going to play that badly at home in front of their own fans again against Leeds. And I think it's proved that Leeds, people saying Leeds will be on the beach. I don't think they would be. Daniel Farke wouldn't allow them to ever be. And Leeds aren't that type of team. They will give it a good go against West Ham on Sunday. Remember, West Ham need to win and hope we lose 2 games. Now, it still could happen. Of course it could. But the odds are firmly in our favour, and everything, as I say, is in our hands. Can they get the job done at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday evening? Let's all hope so. We can get it done and then just relax going into that last game of the season and forget this season actually ever happened. It's knackering, isn't it? It's draining. Yeah, I can't wait for this season to be over, as I've said many, many times before. That's all from me today. Get down in the comments to let me know your feelings as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now. How do you feel about Spurs' chances of surviving in the Premier League for next season? And as always, come on you Spurs.